Hello there, everybody. So today we're going to talk about building wealth. So building wealth is a journey. Um, I think it's important that you enjoy yourself along the way. It's not necessarily the destination; it's the journey itself, and it takes a while. You become wealthy; it's not going to happen overnight. Now, it depends on how do you define wealth. What do you consider wealthy? And it may vary from person to person. So let me give you an example. If you don't have any money and someone else has $25,000, you might think they're wealthy. you know, uh, or if you have 25,000 and someone else has $100,000, you might think they're wealthy. So it's a matter of perspective. Uh, you know, for me, I recently reached this $100,000 investment benchmark that I've been working on for many years, and you know, compared to previous years, yeah, I have more wealth. Do I consider myself wealthy? Well, not really. My wealth journey hasn't ended because I reached $100,000 invested. I still have much further to go. Um, I would probably consider someone wealthy if they had closer to $1 million. But so for me to think that because I reached $100,000 invested, that doesn't necessarily mean I think of myself as wealthy. Now, I think along with this idea of having some money saved up, is you gotta pay off all your debts, and I certainly did. I paid off my credit cards, paid off my student loans, and I don't have any debt. I have zero debt. I have $100,000 invested, and I have some money on the side for cash. So, you know, I'm probably wealthier now than many other points in my life, but the journey isn't ended. I'm going to continue to grow my wealth. But when I look back over the years and how I got to where I am today in trucking, I started out trucking with almost nothing. I had to scratch, crawl, climb, you know, really fight to try to get ahead. And I look back on that, I'm like, I got mad for the mechanics and things like this for kind of silly reasons. It wasn't silly at the time, because when you're in the thick of it, it seems, really important. And when things don't go your way, you get pretty mad. But once you've reached some level of wealth, you look back on that and you're like, I wouldn't do it that way again. I kind of got too angry for, what the situation probably called for. But I think when you have some financial success, you become more laid back. The stress comes off. That was the big thing for me, was stress. Was like, I don't have to worry so much about money. When you don't have any money, that's probably the only thing you worry about is making more money. But once you reach some level of financial success, that pressure and that stress comes off you. I think it lowered my blood pressure by 20 points. So it does help. Now, I don't think having money necessarily changes you. I've seen in other findings that money kind of magnifies who you already are. So if you are a techie person, then money allows you to buy more tech. If you are a car person, for example, you like cars, money will allow you to spend more money on your hobbies, on your cars. So I don't think having money necessarily changes who you are. You are who you are. You're going to stay that way forever, and money is just going to make life a little more enjoyable, less stress. Allows you to relax more, take some of the pressure off. Because when you have debt, that's a burden. Debt is a burden, and it's always on your mind. And when you pay that off, you kind of take it off your plate, and you never spend any more energy thinking about it. I used to think about my student loans all the time, all the time. Then once I paid them off, I don't even give them a second thought. Now when I do think about student loans, I'm like, oh yeah, I paid that off. Yeah, that was good. That was good that I paid them off. So it took that pressure, that burden off my shoulders. And I think that's what wealth does. It makes life easier, makes the things more enjoyable, allows you to relax. And you think back, over my driving career, I think back when I didn't have as much money and I was trying to get miles, trying to get, pay, as much pay as I could. I would get frustrated. I would get angry. And, things didn't go my way. Many times things didn't go my way. And I would get pretty mad about it. But now I look back on it and I'm like, uh, in hindsight, that probably, could have been handled differently. I shouldn't have gotten so angry or so worried about the truck breaking down and stuff like that. But when you're first starting out, you don't have the money, and a truck breaks down, and it's stressful. It's very stressful. You're worried about whether you can pay for that truck repair or not. And you do. You get through it, and then you're on to your next truck repair, and after a while, it becomes somewhat routine. But people say money doesn't make you happy. Well, my thing has always been a lack of money can make you miserable. Maybe money doesn't make you happy, but a lack of money can make you miserable. And having some wealth empowers you to manage your life better. It really does. Now when unexpected expenses come up, you don't necessarily worry about it. It's like small potatoes. It's like, okay, whatever, big deal. So they're like a little annoying things that pop up that in the past might have, kind of caught my attention and said, well, I get upset that I had to spend money on something, that was unexpected, but now it's like we're in a growth stage. All we're doing is growing wealth. So that's it. Driving truck, hauling loads, growing wealth, month over month over month. And, it's much more enjoyable now. I consider it like a peaceful, easy feeling. You don't have to worry about it. It's like if I have a good week or don't have a good week, it doesn't matter, because over the years it all averages out. And having that financial strength in your bank account already, it's like, well, I would like to make an extra $500 for the week, but it's not life or death. It's perfectly okay. And I think, going forward, that's the kind of mindset I will be operating by. It's not that I don't think money is important, but I don't have to worry about it so much. I don't have to lose sleep over it, and I don't have to get worked up about it either. And it's like, things come up, they're thousands of dollars. Okay, I can handle it. It's not that big of a deal. Now, when it gets up to be about 50,000, that creates a problem. But a few thousand here and there, that's okay. And I think for truck repairs, a $10,000 truck repair, nobody wants to pay that, but it's manageable. But still, when you're first starting out, that might be a little bit stressful. So keep this in mind as you develop as an owner-operator and you start saving money, and you invest it and you grow your money. As you become more and more wealthier, things become less and less dramatic. The drama is coming out of the work process. It's no more of this crazy drama over truck breaking down. It's like you can handle it. Same thing with every aspect of your life. That the solution is almost always going to be something concerning money. And once you've attained some level of wealth, now you can handle it. You can manage it. And it's really not that big of a deal. So in hindsight, it was much ado about nothing. But at the time, it seemed very, very important. All right, guys. That's all I got for you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the internet.